Hello, and thank you for joining us for Film Still. My name is Nicole Cromartie, and I'm the Director of Education and Programs here at the Clifford Still Museum. Tonight, we are joined by artist Jenna Maurice. Jenna is an artist working in photography, video, and performance, and who lives and works here in Denver, Colorado. She received her BFA in photography from Watkins College of Art and her MFA in interdisciplinary media art practices from the University of Colorado at Boulder. Her work deals with ideas concerning relationships with herself, others, the past, the landscape, and objects, nonverbal communication, and the language of the complicated human experience. Tonight, we are screening her film Nonverbal Secret Confession Booth on YouTube at 7:30 p.m. and projecting on the outside of the Clifford Still Museum at 8:30 p.m. Before we start the screening tonight, we wanted to have a chat with Jenna to learn more about what we're going to see this evening. Welcome, Jenna. Thank you so much for working on this program with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited that the Clifford Still is just leading the way in experimental video.
Thank you for saying that. I was hoping we could get started by just having you tell us a little bit about Nonverbal Secret Confession Booth and give us a sense of what we're in store for. How do you hope visitors, viewers will engage with this work both online and on the forecourt at Clifford Still?
Totally. Okay, well, Nonverbal Secret Confession Booth is kind of uh, a continuation of some nonverbal communication work I've been doing in the past 10 years. And it is maybe weird to call it a film because it's not a narrative. It doesn't have really a beginning, a middle, and an end. So viewers should definitely know that. But it's really at the heart of it is all about my interest in being able to connect with people non-verbally and how much communication can be had without using language, which can be so limiting. So this film, we'll call it, is around 30 minutes long. It's just shy of 30 minutes. And these are all strangers that I don't know that came into a tiny room that I was in. And I was actually shrouded in a tiny black tent. So nobody even ever saw me during the filming of this. Strangers would come in and they would sit in a chair and they would see a camera poking out at them. And I asked them to think of a situation where they had a secret that they were keeping from a specific person. You know how sometimes you have a secret, you can't tell it to somebody, but you can definitely tell it to someone else and it'll be no problem.
Sure.
Just because of relational dynamics or your history with that person or whatever. So I asked them to think of that situation and think of the person that they could not tell this specific secret to. I also didn't ask them to tell me the secret. So I don't know what they're thinking of in this film. Ask them to think of a secret and then ask them to imagine in their mind, in a play-by-play way, telling that secret to the person that they were keeping it from and let that play out in whatever way it did in their mind as they kind of used the lens as a portal for this to all take place in. So what we're left with is people intensely looking into the camera, imagining a situation where they tell the secret to the person they're keeping it from, and hoping for the audience to have an empathetic response here with these strangers and with emotions that are happening, even though we don't know the specific thing that they're thinking of. How can we maybe have a personal connection with the nonverbal communication that's happening in their own faces? So I would also say that since this film doesn't have a beginning, a middle, and an end, viewers can engage with it however they would like. One thing I would say is that every person is different. So if you don't watch every person, you might miss the person that you connect most with. And that could be an exciting thing to kind of try to do. There are about 40 people that participated in this. And like I said, the film is about 30 minutes long. If you're interested in watching the entire thing, eyes locked to it, awesome. If you find yourself drifting in and out of it, that's also an acceptable way to watch this piece.
Awesome. Thanks, Jenna. I have a feeling everyone's going to be thinking about what their own secrets are. They have
Yeah, I mean,
all
yes.
too.
Totally. And you'll also notice, like in this film, some of the nonverbal communication cues, like one of the people can't even get to the point where they tell the person the secret. Lots of darting eyes, lots of, I can't make eye contact with you because the secret is too big. I can't even do it in my own imagination.
Wow.
So keep an eye out for that one.
Yes, definitely. So could you tell us a little bit about what the inspiration for this project was?
Yeah, so I am really interested in language and how limiting that is. I feel like a lot of times my go-to way that I want to communicate something quickly and effectively is just to make noises or make faces, make expressions with my face, and also, I did. And I've been working on a project and have completed a lot of it, which is about how do we make a relationship with the landscape, and that's definitely not through language. So kind of going back to pre-verbal situation of being a human before you know language. What do you rely on? You rely on mimicry. You rely on observation, and then possibly trying to relate based on that. Maybe interacting in specific ways with parts of the landscape. So this piece and the pieces that have come before it that are in the same vein of it with strangers, kind of, I'm interested in, what kind of empathy, what kind of connection can we make with somebody without language? And I think a lot can happen. Some viewers have had experiences where they connect with this stranger on the screen so much that they are also crying if they see the stranger crying. And just noticing, what kind of nonverbal communication are the viewers making while watching or viewing this work. So paying attention to what's on the screen and then also what's happening within your own self. Also just knowing that 75 to 90% of all of our communication is nonverbal. That's a lot. And I'm super pumped about that. I'm super interested in that, and how can I maybe bring more attention to it. So that's really what this piece is all about.
So I wonder, why were you interested in screening this particular piece at the Clifford Still Museum?
Well, I think the show that's going on right now, the collection Two Ways, Stories We Tell collection Two Ways, is kind of asking viewers to look at the still collection based on curation and thinking about stories and thinking about how do we read things that are next to each other, juxtaposition, and I think this piece just fits so perfectly with that idea because it's all about viewer response. So the same way that the show that's going on right now is asking viewers to really think about how are they processing this. This film is doing the same thing, and I think it's also. I just am excited about showing a video piece at an abstract painter's museum because I think nonverbal communication is a form of abstraction, and it is a form of having to decipher something. So I feel like it really fits in so many levels to this museum.
Yeah. Jenna, you've already kind of touched on this a little bit with pointing out some specific things that we might look for in the piece, but is there anything that you would want to add about what viewers, whether they're viewing online or in person, what they should look for in the work?
Well, I think that a great thing to look for, especially now in this time of our lives when so we've all been wearing a mask that's been covering a lot of our nonverbal communication. And I'm interested in maybe the viewers maybe processing how much we read from somebody's eyes, because that's really what we've been counting on for about a year now. And maybe we've trained ourselves in a different way to read someone's face in, this partial manner, which I'm also super excited about, because I feel like so much of my facial expression happens with my mouth. And I think that I have also been kind of looking at eyes in a different way. But, you know, also the fact that just reading a person's face in this time when we've kind of been isolated, not as much socialization, it'll be interesting having that experience, to kind of have an experience with a person without any language, because I feel like that's kind of what we've been doing for this past year. And I wonder if it'll be more interesting possibly now, or maybe we'll get more of what's happening in people's faces now. So yeah, lock into those eyes and see what's back there.
And then lastly, I just, if you could share where people can find your work.
Sure. Yeah, I'm on the internet. You can go to my website, jennamaurice.com. You can see video performance as well as photography work there. A couple pieces I could point out that might be interesting to people. The most viewed video that I've ever had is called Addressing Maria von Trapp. And it's a piece I made while I was walking on campus at CU Boulder, and the snow was coming down. It was like snowing. It was a beautiful snow, and I started thinking about the sound of music and the song My Favorite Things. And there's a line in there that says one of the favorite things is snowflakes that stay on your nose and eyelashes. And I was having that experience, and it wasn't good. So I just made a video, maybe asking Maria to make a little amendment to the favorite things, because it's kind of annoying to have that happen to you. So maybe check out that work. But yes, JennaMaurice.com.
Thanks, Jenna. All right, well, let's go ahead and start the screening. Enjoy.